Welcome to True TV. Now, I'll show you a clip. And the clip is one of major concern and something I think a lot of people going out need to really pay attention to. Just look.
I was in an establishment cashing an item, and my niece had some ice cream. And I was in the line waiting, and there's this guy that was coming behind me to cash. But before he comes behind me, he stops in front of my niece, and he's just like, "Can I get some of your ice cream? Can you share it with me?" So my niece pulls away, and I pull her, and I'm just like, "No." Easy me? No, and he's ha 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 after. But that was in and of itself, he was really expecting her to give him the ice cream cone. And I'm just, what are you doing? No, I'm not going to create a scene, right? But of course, my guard is up and my niece's guard is up. So she's turning to the side to kind of side eye him to see what he's doing because she don't trust him. So he's kind of coming closer to me, right? Or coming closer to behind me. So he's closing the gap behind us. And it's like I hear him saying, "You're not going to," he has on his mask, by the way, "You're not going to share your ice cream with me. I can't get some of your ice cream." So I turn on and say, "Sir, can you stop talking to my niece? Can you stop talking to my niece?" So him step back, "All right, nice lady." Then me hear something about sexy. Sexy. Now, when men address me or try to make chat or small talk, mentioning things like that, I usually just ignore. Right? I pretend like I don't hear and I ignore. When I turn it on, cause me I say, "Yo, why you keep coming in my ear like it's bothering me now?" I'm about to turn around and tell him, say, "Yo, come off of me, like ease off of me." Zine. I turn around and I see that he stepped to this side, and it's not me looking at, it's my niece, my 7-year-old niece. He's saying, "But she's sexy though." So me say, "Don't let me call the security. Don't let me call the police on you. How dare you call my niece sexy? My niece sexy, how dare you?" So I'm getting loud. The people in the establishment are like, "You know what?" and whatever. So I realized by this time, it's almost like I came out of myself and I had to catch myself, right? Because I'm not in the mood for any videos or whatever, any recording or whatever. So as I can, let me not make a scene. I mean, I'm so angry. I was brought to tears, and it was so unfortunate that my niece had to go through and experience that. But at the same time, I'm happy that she saw me defend her. And I'm happy that she saw that it was okay to speak out. And, I spoke to her parents, and, her mom reminded her that when somebody makes her uncomfortable or touches her inappropriately, she's to kick them, she's to run, she's to scream, she's to point to the person, get people's attention. And I'm asking all the parents, aunties like myself, all relatives, to have these conversations with their children to normalize this behavior. The man was brazen enough to lustfully look at my niece. He never do it behind doors. And I know you have those closed door pedophiles, but this one came out in public and did it. And this is the sort of world that we are living in.
Alright, so you see, faceless. Now, as she was saying, this man randomly come up to her niece and approach her. And this is what I would presume would be in the middle of the day. Now, I think sometimes, when it comes to our kids, we should not only teach them, how to behave, but teach them to be aware of their surroundings. Yeah, for instance, what if that child was, I would say, shielded, or if she wasn't there, and, it was probably, in the evening, or, this could have been an scenario where the child was kidnapped, or, worse. People, I think, when it comes to kids, teach them how to be street smart. Not only teach them about the book, teach them about life. Teach them to observe, watch, pick up on the subtleties in a conversation when somebody is speaking to them. Now, I don't know what's happened to that man, or what, if anything will happen. But I think somebody like him, well, at least, I don't know, should be probably recommended by the police. Because if he was so brazen to approach that little girl in such a manner in a shop that I would presume of other people overhearing. It couldn't be his first time, right? It could be something he consistently does on a regular basis. And I wish she would pursue it if there were any security cameras in the facility or outside. She'll make a report to the police, and the police, try and identify that man. But then again, it will be word of mouth. And some people will say, "Oh, this never happened one time, and one time you can let your picnic go shop and they can go by themselves." That has never happened. From the beginning of time, you have individuals like himself that have been doing this in front and behind closed doors, right? Now I know that if it was some other people, they would take that situation completely different, because once you pose any sort of threat towards their child, you know, they will immediately pounce on them. And I hope that this can be something that other parents who don't say telling their child or shielding their child from this world that we live in can take note of and be more realistic when they're raising a child. Because I don't know what would happen if that artist wasn't there with her niece, right? The child could have backed up. The child could have made a scene that would be, I think, would be right. Because when a child is alone, what they could do is to approach him like that. It's just to make a scene. They make a scene and draw attention to them. I think that to kind of get this thing under control is to Jamaica to have something similar to the US, where you have a sex offenders register. Any kind of movement, those who have committed the crime. For instance, they move in a neighborhood, you know, or they, or what I think was proposed. There were a specific lesson plate. I don't think that has been put into place yet, but to an idea of who these individuals are, so we can better be prepared and to know who to keep away from. But then again, it is Jamaica. It is the land where people can die. And if Jim Bob knows Carl down the street is registered on this list, they'll just might decide to go over and, send him to La La Land. Whether or not that's a good or bad thing, it depends on how you view it. But I think that registry is something that needs to be put in place. Now, will that stop people from doing it? No. It's still gonna have those vile human beings doing those things. But it might put a plug on the situation. It might deter people from doing those things because they know that that permanent record could destroy them. So they might say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And that's something that would be for everyone be a good thing. So I'm just glad that she was there and she was aware enough to step in a situation and defend her niece. And I think, they are going to be more aware, or probably going to sit down and have a talk with a child and say, guess what, so and so, this is the world, and make that child even more aware if it weren't aware enough. Because I think if you just put them one side and you shield them, these kids nowadays, they give them their tablets, their computer, put them in a gated community. Most of them just unaware and think the world is all rainbow and sunshine, when in reality it's not. It's a very cold and dark place out there. And there are a lot of people who are monsters posing as human beings. Now, I'm not saying that, not to protect them or give them a normal upbringing. They deserve that. They deserve that sense of normality and not to have the hard things in the world thrown at them consistently. We all deserve that. Everybody deserves a normal upbringing where you have to fear every turn on the corner. But they need to be aware and they need awareness. So this is my piece and like, subscribe, shoot out.